President-elect Donald Trump is all set to be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States in a historic ceremony at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. The event will feature a star-studded lineup including celebrities, foreign dignitaries, and tech titans, marking the beginning of Trump's second term in office. So, what can we expect from this momentous event? For one, Mother Nature is throwing a curveball. The ceremony will now take place indoors due to a bone-chilling cold front sweeping through the Capitol. Instead of the usual outdoor setting, the president's inaugural address, along with other key speeches, will be delivered from the iconic rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. The inaugural parade will be held indoors at Washington's Capital One Arena. A global lineup of leaders is set to grace the inauguration, with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, Argentinian President Javier Milei, and Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban among the prominent figures expected to attend. Chinese President Xi Jinping will not attend the ceremony, but is instead sending the Vice President as a special envoy. India will be represented by External Affairs Minister J Shankar, while Japan's Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya has also confirmed his participation. All living former U.S. presidents will be present with their spouses, continuing a long-standing tradition. However, former First Lady Michelle Obama has chosen to skip the event, offering no explanation for her absence. Both female candidates who lost the race to the White House to Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Kamala Harris last November, will be present. Some of the world's most influential business figures will be attending. Tesla CEO and staunch Trump supporter Elon Musk, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg are expected to be seated together. TikTok CEO Xiaozi Chu will join the high-profile guest list just as a nationwide TikTok ban takes effect. He's likely to sit alongside the tech mogul trio. Google CEO Sundar Pichai will also be making his way to the Capitol for the occasion. The ceremony will feature a lineup of iconic musical performances. Opera singer Christopher Machio will perform the national anthem. Country legend Lee Greenwood will bring the spirit of patriotism alive with God Bless the USA. And Carrie Underwood will sing America the Beautiful. With protests expected, thousands of federal agents, police, and other law enforcement will be on hand. President-elect Trump's inauguration is set to be a defining moment. As the world watches, the ceremony marks the start of a second term for Trump, setting the stage for what's to come in American politics. Samia Afsar, NDTV World.
All right, it's going to be a star-studded affair. But ahead of taking office, President-elect Donald Trump held his final Make America Great Again or MAGA rally on the eve of his inauguration to promise swift day-one action, remarking that the federal government and far as shifting priorities on everything from cracking down on the US-Mexico border to promoting oil drilling or liquid gold, as he actually called fossil fuels in that rally. Trump promised to rein in the federal workforce and eradicate diversity programs. In fact, he spoke at length about them. He also vowed to close the curtain on 4 long years of American decline. Listen in to some of the snippets of his over 70-minute-long address in that DC rally.
We need to save TikTok because we're talking about a tremendous... Who in this audience goes with TikTok? Many? Yeah, very popular. And frankly, we have no choice. We have to save it. A lot of jobs. We don't want to give our business to China. We don't want to give our business to other people. The invasion of our borders will have come to a halt, and all the illegal border trespassers will in some form or another be on their way back home. All of this in the Middle East in less than 3 months without being president. We've achieved more without being president than they've achieved in 4 years with being president.
All right, now let's get in Jessica Stone, a correspondent joining me from Washington, D.C. She's a correspondent with the Voice of America. Jessica, good to have you on the show. And let me start by asking you, it's a star-studded affair. We've told our viewers what all is expected, but talk to us about how different this ceremony is going to be. It's breaking a fair bit of records, but talk to us about the expectation, and how D.C. is. It's actually painted red after a very long time.
That's true. The excitement is definitely in the air here in Washington, D.C. as the sun is rising over the Capitol. And that is it's going to be a sunny day, it really here, but very, very cold, as you know, and as we've been talking about, which means that for the first time in 40 years, all of the events have been moved inside. The swearings in, the national anthem, the songs, the music, the pageantry, the speeches, all of it inside either the Capitol or an arena not far from the U.S. Capitol. We know that the president-elect is beginning his day in about an hour's time at a church service across the park from the White House, and then we'll join President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden at tea at the White House before heading over to the Capitol for the swearing-in ceremonies for both the Vice President and the President, which will take place in the Capitol Rotunda, which again is not a normal place for that swearing-in to take place. When you look back through archived videos, you see so many videos and pictures of the previous U.S. presidents taking the oath of office outside on the West Front steps, and that will not be the case for this second Trump term. He will take the oath of office on his own Bible from childhood, administered by the Chief Justice John Roberts, but inside the Capitol Rotunda, where only about 50 or 60 people can probably attend. We are told through social media by Trump that he's invited dignitaries, but he hasn't named anyone, and VIPs. Of course, we expect that his family would be there and close advisors. But this will be a much more low-key, understated event. Of course, it's coming off a pretty high-octane event last night at the Capital One Arena, where he had his rally, and he will be heading back to that location after the swearing in. We're not quite sure where the speech will take place. I think it's going to be taking place in the Capitol Rotunda, all of it being streamed live to the folks in the Capital One Arena. But there are only 20,000 seats in that arena, as opposed to the 240 or 50,000 tickets that were issued to witness the inauguration swearing in and speeches on the West Front lawn. So that is a big gap, and all of those folks now have to find a place to stay warm and to be able to view the proceedings. That may pack our bars and restaurants over to the brim, hotels and the like, because this has been a season of celebration for those folks coming in from out of town in particular.
Absolutely. I want to ask that, already a lot has been spoken. Donald Trump has already, in fact, laid out his policy agenda for the next 4 years. But what more is likely to be expected in his first speech as the next president?
We fully expect this president to set a record for executive orders on day one, at least 100, if not 200 executive orders in the offing. We expect him to sign those executive orders throughout the day, reversing Biden policies on immigration, on climate change, on diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring practices in the federal government, on a mandate or allowing federal workers not to have to come to the office. We expect a lot of changes allowing for drilling on federal lands of oil and gas, of exploration to take place, reversing renewable energy mandates by the Biden administration. And then, of course, on immigration, as I mentioned earlier, we expect a raft of executive orders on that as well, reversing amnesty policy and procedures, not the ability to declare amnesty or apply for asylum when you come to this country, but the way that that is handled afterwards. We expect that there will be a rollback of those, as well as a surge of resources to the southern border under the form of a national emergency declaration by this president. And let's not forget TikTok. We know that this president has already said he's going to issue an executive order to delay and extend the period of time in which TikTok can reach an agreement to have its parent company divest from this app and allow some sort of U.S. ownership to take place. We don't know what that deal is going to look like, but we know that this president, after initiating this whole conversation 5 years ago, is now a fan of TikTok and wants to be able to keep it under some kind of U.S. Ownership or Western ownership.
All right, we leave it there. Jessica Stone, really appreciate you taking out the time to really decode what all is likely to happen. Star-studded affair and a lot likely to happen as well. All right, shifting in fact to External Affairs Minister Dr. J Shankar, who is also in Washington, D.C. to attend President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. He stated that Trump's return could have profound consequences for the global order, with various challenges and opportunities for the India-US relationship, especially when it comes to trade and immigration. As per reports, Dr. J Shankar is expected to be the first foreign minister to meet Trump's pick for Secretary of State, that is Marco Rubio, once he is confirmed as the Secretary of State. President-elect Donald Trump has made it a priority to take the India-US relationship to the next level. That's what reports indicate. That Dr. J Shankar has also met with his Australian and Japanese counterparts in Washington, D.C., and more bilateral cooperation is likely, especially when it comes to the Quad. All right, let's get in my colleague Mohammad Ghazali to really talk to us about what more can happen, the priorities here, the fact that there could be a Quad meeting on the sidelines in fact, less than a day after Donald Trump takes over as the next president, is indicative, Ghazali, of the kind of importance of India as well as Indo-Pacific.
Certainly, the Quad foreign ministers meet just happening a day after his swearing in or after the inauguration, the very next day, certainly shows the kind of relevance it holds for America's foreign policy when it comes to the Quad summit or to the basic idea when Quad was formed, and that too it was formed under Mr. Trump's first presidency. So that is a fact which Mr. J Shankar has been reiterating time and again. He has been asked about what India should expect under his second presidency, and he said the kind of bonhomie he has with Mr. Modi. And besides all that, when it comes to policy decisions, Mr. Trump is really unpredictable because he has taken some U-turns even before getting into office when it came to providing aid to Ukraine. But the Secretary of State, the incoming Secretary of State, Mr. Rubio, has been, he's a known China hawk. He has been backing India by passing some of the prominent bills supporting India-US joint cooperation when it comes to the defense sector, space technology, and he's been backing that India's position as an ally of US should be elevated to the status of Israel, South Korea, other NATO allies. So this shows that India certainly has a game to play. India certainly has a chance to sort of recalibrate its entire approach when it comes to India-US relationship, when it comes to trade ties, because tariff was one issue which came under discussion when Mr. Trump was quoted saying that perhaps those who are talking about de-dollarization, hinting towards the BRICS countries, that they will face the consequences. And India was the first to react, saying that we don't support de-dollarization, and India has never been supportive of the idea. It was just an idea floated by the other members of the BRICS. So India has been very consistent when it comes to its own position and relations with the United States and many other countries, that it's very mutually exclusive. It's not related to what other members are doing. So certainly Dr. J Shankar is there. He's representing India in this ceremony there, and it is expected that the first meeting of Quad foreign ministers will happen or will be held tomorrow after the Secretary of State, Mr. Rubio, incoming Secretary of State, he takes over in the office and then confirms the meeting schedule. But it is very significant that Indian Foreign Minister is there, and key issues will certainly be discussed besides trade ties, besides security cooperation and other issues.
Absolutely. Mohammad Ghazali, appreciate you taking out the time to really connect the dots for us in terms of the significance of the India-US relationship, the significance of Quad, and what will really be the future of Indo-US ties under Trump 2.0. We're slipping into a very short break. We come back with our rolling coverage of Trump 2.0 impact on India, including an interesting conversation with Ritesh, Malik, and what could be the Musk factor in the India-US relationship. Stay with us.
Hi, it's Phoebe from Auto Trader's monthly electric car giveaway, and we're pleased to say that you've won a brand new electric car.
It's a dream, honestly, it really is a dream. Oh my god, me and my boyfriend talk about the Auto Trader competition every single month. I was waiting for the know you ever won.
Quidco gives you cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco. Sign up and start saving today. Visit quidco.com.
Sticking to your resolutions is hard, but at Tesco Mobile, our deals always keep their word. Get a 60 gig SIM for just £13 a month with Club Card prices, plus £20 worth of Club Card points. Better still, that price is frozen for 2 years. That's a resolution you can rely on. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Actor of the Year. By the way, my dear friends, you know, probably I am one of the first ones in the history of NDTV to have this rare, proud honor of announcing and honoring as in the place of a real hero to a reel of my own movie, Shrikant. Without a further ado, with great admiration, love and due respect, the best actor of the year goes to Shri Rajkumar Rao. Please come on to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rajkumar Rao's versatility, dedication to meaningful cinema, and consistent delivery of powerful performances continued in 2024. His recent roles in Shrikant, Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, Stree 2, and Wiki Vidya Ka Wo Wala video showcases his deep commitment to his craft, often transforming himself physically and emotionally to suit the character's demands, making Rajkumar Rao the NDTV Actor of 2024.
जोरदार तालियां राजकुमार के लिए। भाई हम सबके दिलों के राजकुमार भी तो हैं ये। राजकुमार, आपसे पूछना चाहेंगे हम 2024 मेरे ख्याल से आपके जीवन का सबसे सुनहरा साल आप इसको मानेंगे?
Well, definitely. First of all, thank you so much, NDTV. Thank you, sir. Thank you, jury. Thank you, Shrikant, the real Shrikant, for giving us your life story and for giving me this opportunity to play you on screen, because it was one of the most challenging parts. But I had so much fun because when there are challenges, then only it's fun. Otherwise, it gets very monotonous, very boring.
आपने तो अपॉर्चुनिटी छीन लिया, नहीं तो मैं खुद प्ले करता था यार।
नहीं, प्लीज कुछ काम हमें भी करने दो, आप सब कुछ करोगे। NDTV this.
Welcome back. You're watching our very special edition of India Global, the Trump takeover. And the question we are asking now is that during this Trump era, will it be advantage India or not? And to talk about that, I'm joined by Ritesh Malik, who's a young entrepreneur and a startup investor who also was part of the team of Indian founders who met Elon Musk last week. Ritesh, good to have you on the show. Let me start by asking you about, well, first things first, what was the experience like when you met Elon Musk? You were part of the team that saw the entire rocket launch. Your takeaways and experience of that entire day and that entire experience?
No, so we were a group of Indian founders and business leaders who took the trip to first Washington, D.C. To explore what Trump 2.0 holds. And as a part of India Global Forum, went to meet Mr. Musk. But the most exciting part was the launch of Starship Flight 7, which was it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to witness a rocket go up and half of it come down, and very, very exciting. And our interaction with Mr. Musk was extremely inspiring for young founders like me to actually think out of the box and to ensure that we not only just do incremental innovation, but we also focus on exponential disruptions in emerging sectors like space, mobility, etc. So very, very interesting, and especially the timing of it is extremely important. As Mr. Trump takes over as the president of America, there will be a massive dominion shift in global politics. So I think India will be the biggest benefactor of tariffs on China. And at scale, I genuinely feel that Indo-US partnership will be solidified by technology leadership and creating products that help the humanity.
You mentioned technology. How do you see this collaboration between India and US under Trump 2.0?
I think it'll be amazing. It'll be, in my opinion, it'll be much, much better than the one that we had under the leadership of Mr. Biden. the good part is that Mr. Trump has got leaders like Elon Musk guiding him on how the future of America should look like. And Elon and all the technology leaders understand the contribution of India, not only in providing talent for large tech companies. You see, a lot of large tech companies are actually run by Indians, but also the fact that not only in the US, but in India, technology leadership will be a very important part. If you see, India has one of the largest digital infrastructures in the world. So our digital infrastructure is a model for even nations like America to follow. Our fintech platforms, our UPI. So I truly believe there is a massive opportunity to collaborate between India and US, between founders of both the countries, and exchange of technology. There'll be a lot of technology transfer, a lot of US capital to come into India to back technology businesses. At the same time, there will be a very interesting shift, in my opinion, in the US on regularization of cryptocurrency and blockchain. And if that is done under the Trump 2.0 regimen, other nations will have to get their act straight on whether they want to regularize cryptocurrency or blockchain. So I truly believe if as I'm in Davos right now, and artificial intelligence will be the center point of all public policy and the impact that AI will have on nations. So I think that this is one of the most difficult, at the same time, the most opportune time to build businesses in India as well as in the US, and especially in the space of artificial intelligence.
You mentioned cryptocurrency. Do you think Trump 2.0 will be a catalyst for starting some sort of a global framework for crypto?
I don't know the answer to that right now, because first America will have to adopt it at a government scale. So until that happens, I don't think other nations will even think about creating policy around that. But I genuinely think that may not be cryptocurrency, but blockchain as a technology will be a huge beneficiary under Trump 2.0. So I think once United States gets their framework clear, other nations will follow the suit.
Okay, what about the Musk factor in India-US ties? You know, talk to us whether from a business point of view, from a policy framework point of view, from a tech point of view.
So in our interaction, one thing which was very clear was his affinity towards India. If you see some of key leadership positions at all his companies are Indian origin. So I truly believe that versus a China or any other economy, India is a natural partner for United States. And this is going to even further strengthen, as if you also see the chemistry between both the leaders, be it our Prime Minister, Honorable Narendra Modi ji, and Donald Trump. They share a very special bond. And I think this is going to even strengthen out. And I truly believe Elon's focus on the government will be a huge push for America, because you will see massive efficiency coming in with the Department of Government Efficiency, which will be led by Elon and Vivek. So I truly believe that this is a very interesting model, which can also be replicated in India, wherein a lot of leaders which are focused on business start taking a larger role in public policy to ensure that we create a holistic, efficient government which focuses on truly creating value for the last man standing.
All right, Ritesh, Malik, appreciate you taking out the time to talk to us about the Musk factor, the India-US tech ties, and what really lies ahead. All right, on that note, we slip into a short break. Rolling coverage of Trump takeover continues. Thanks so much for watching.
Actor of the Year. By the way, my dear friends, you know, probably I am one of the first ones in the history of NDTV to have this rare, proud honor of announcing and honoring as in the place of a real hero to a reel of my own movie Shrikant. Without a further ado, with great admiration, love and due respect, the best actor of the year goes to Shri Rajkumar Rao. Please come on to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rajkumar Rao's versatility, dedication to meaningful cinema, and consistent delivery of powerful performances continued in 2024. His recent roles in Shrikant, Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, Stree 2 and Wiki Vidya Ka Wo Wala video showcases his deep commitment to his craft, often transforming himself physically and emotionally to suit the character's demands, making Rajkumar Rao the NDTV actor of 2024.
जोरदार तालियां राजकुमार के लिए। भाई हम सबके दिलों के राजकुमार भी तो हैं ये। राजकुमार, आपसे पूछना चाहेंगे हम 2024 मेरे ख्याल से आपके जीवन का सबसे सुनहरा साल आप इसको मानेंगे?
Well, definitely. First of all, thank you so much, NDTV. Thank you, sir. Thank you, jury. Thank you, Shrikant, the real Shrikant, for giving us your life story and for giving me this opportunity to play you on screen, because it was one of the most challenging parts. But I had so much fun because when there are challenges, then only it's fun. Otherwise, it gets very monotonous, very boring.
आपने तो अपॉर्चुनिटी छीन लिया, नहीं तो मैं खुद प्ले करता था यार।
नहीं, प्लीज कुछ काम हमें भी करने दो। आप सब कुछ करोगे तो फिर हम क्या करेंगे?
नहीं, सीक्वल 2 में हम दोनों लड़ेंगे।
डन।
किसको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगा, किसका लुक बेटर होगा, देखेंगे ना।
डन। बट यार 2024 बहुत ही अच्छा रहा। I think God has been really kind. This is my second Indian of the year. I received it in 2017 because that was also a fabulous year. But I want every year to be a fabulous year for our cinema, for our stories. I wish कि हम लोग अच्छी कहानियाँ कहें, अच्छा content बनाएं, so that we can films like Shrikant, where we can inspire people, because his life is so inspiring and not many people knew about him, unfortunately. But through cinema, we can tell such beautiful stories which can touch your heart, which can change someone's life. So I just wish कि हर साल 2024 जैसा ही हो और मैं यहाँ पर और आता रहूँ और ऐसे कमाल श्रीकांत जैसे लोगों से अवार्ड लेता रहूँ. So again, thank you so much NDTV. This means a lot to me.
Well,
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of India Global. I'm Gaurie Dwivedi. We focus the next 30 minutes on the Trump takeover. On his very first day back, President-elect Donald Trump is expected to sign roughly 200 executive actions, which include executive orders, presidential memoranda, proclamations and any other directives that a president can sign. What are they going to be on? A range of issues, whether it's military, immigration, border security, diversity, as well as making public the remaining records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. The president-elect also discussed plans for TikTok, saying he had no choice but to save the popular social media app because of the jobs it creates. This is what he said at his Baga rally on the eve of being sworn in as the 47th President of the US. All right, to talk more about what this means from an India point of view, what are the areas that we need to focus on? What could be the big shining spots and the bright spots in the India-US relationship? What could be the areas where we need to probably keep our guardrails up? To talk on that and more, I have Ambassador Arun Singh, who's been India's ambassador to the US 16-17, if I'm not mistaken, sir. Thanks so much for joining me on India Global. Let me start by asking you, sir, in terms of, as someone who understands the India-US relationship very well, what do you think could be Donald Trump's vision for India-US relationship in his second term?
Even in his first term, he had reached out positively to the Indian American community, and he had taken several steps that were positive for India. He had placed India on strategic trade authorization level 1 for highest level technology releases and had articulated the strategy for Indo-Pacific, signaling that he saw India as a valuable partner in the context of the challenges they faced in the Pacific, including vis-a-vis China. Now, given all that, at this stage, because President Trump will be deciding his policies based on his own political priorities. So at the moment, we have to first see what is the strategy that he works out on China. And there is some confusion there because in his national security team, the national security advisor, the Secretary of State designate, he has chosen people who are seen as China hawks and have outlined the challenges that China poses to the US. But in his economic team, Elon Musk is a very close advisor. There is the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. These are people who are heavily invested in the China relationship. And as you mentioned, for example, he's delaying the ban on TikTok, although the previous administration and the US Congress had determined that TikTok was a national security challenge for the US. He had invited the Chinese president for the inauguration, and of course the vice president is up for that. So what the signal will be on China, we have to see. But despite whatever policy they may adopt on China, I think the message is clear that he wants the US to maintain its preeminent position globally. To do that, US has to deal with the economic, military, technology challenge for China. For that, they need India as a partner. Because India is the only other country, 1.4 billion people. We have a strong tech, skilled human capital. 20% of the global talent for semiconductor design is located in India. So he sees value in the India partnership.
Indeed. You mentioned about the fact that there are two China hawks in his team. How do you see Trump's policy action towards China being dictated, whether it's Marco Rubio's view or whether it is the National Security Advisor's view, and how much do you see that impacting India?
So as I mentioned to you, there's going to be a big battle between his national security team and the economic team, because they'll come out with different recommendations related to China. And it has been said in the past that Trump encourages fighting in his team and then he chooses what works for him politically. So what exactly will be the policy on China remains to be seen. He's signaling that even though he wants to have the competition in China, he wants to have a stable relationship. But whatever he decides on China, my assessment would be that China will be seen as a technology competitor. And if US wants to maintain its preeminent position globally, which both Biden said it and Trump says it, then in that context, they will attach value to the India relationship. Because the US company realized that for their global leadership in innovation, India is an important partner. Today, there are 1,700 what are described as global capability centers in India, doing cutting-edge R&D and technology development for global operations of multinational companies.
Indeed.
So that way, it's an important partnership. But the worry would be that he may seek to impose tariffs related to India, because he has, very often described India as a tariff king. He's not been satisfied with the kind of market access that was given in his first term.
Yes.
So we have to watch what he does on trade.
Indeed. Which also brings me to ask you, Ambassador Singh, about vehicles like the Quad. Do you see them reshaping under Trump 2.0? Do you see them becoming more about hard power, whether it's military or maybe a clearer stance in supply chains, than the soft power vehicles that they are right now, whether it's disaster, vaccines, do you see that change happening?
So if you recall, it was in President Trump's first term that the Quad had been revived. It was languishing since 2007. And it was under President Trump that as part of the Indo-Pacific strategy, they revived the Quad, which met at mid-official and then foreign minister level. Then in the Biden administration, it was taken to summit level meetings. And it has gone beyond just soft power. They carry out military exercises. You have the Malabar series of exercises. And they've coordinated, for looking at not just HADR, but building up gradually interoperability, although they don't describe it in the same way. But I think what might happen is that some of the areas of focus in the Quad, such as on climate change issues, those may not get the same level of attention in a Trump administration. So I think the ultimate success of the Quad lies in the benefits that they bring to other countries in the region. Only then they will want to partner with the Quad and not just with China. So I think with that in mind, the soft power dimension certainly has to be sustained.
All right, Ambassador Arun Singh, thank you so much for taking out the time to speak to me on India Global. to decode what the India-US relationship could be under Trump 2.0 and what could be the bright spots. On that note, we slip into a short break. We come back on the other side, talk more about which are the areas which should be the priorities for the 47th President of India. Stay with us.
Now I'm retired, I can spend more time with my grandson. I'm proud of him and want to help any way I can. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
Well, that's good to know.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money can help with my funeral costs or even be used as a gift. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Thanks, Mum, for everything.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Who doesn't love a good deal?
Meal deals.
Be rude not to deals. Seal deals? Or a bit of deal or no deal? We've got free-to-play deals with no deposit required. And up to £1,000 to be won every day. Get that good deal feeling only at Tombola.
If you're homeless, you're never safe.
Tonight, too many young people like Kira will be at risk right here on our streets. But you could help a young person find safety and begin a new future by sponsoring a room at Centrepoint.
It's more than a room. You get real support and training to help you get your life back on track.
Please search Centrepoint Room online today or call 0808 281 8001 and be the turning point for a young person like Kira. Thank you.
Our first year as a family flew by. And now, I want to make sure he'll be financially protected for all his birthdays to come. That's why I'm calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, I'd like a quick quote for family life insurance.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
That's great.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And could help my wife pay off the mortgage.
And with our Smart Family Guarantee, you'll have peace of mind.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0808 141 5855 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
To those kind of roles, I mean, how?
Welcome back. You're watching our special coverage of the Trump takeover and what it means for India. The Trump era, will it mean advantage for India, and which are the areas where that advantage could actually play out? Let's now get in our guests this evening. Joining me on the show is John Rosamondo, who's a commentator on US national security, Arun Agarwal, who's the CEO of Dallas-based conglomerate Next. He's also the co-chair of the Indian-American CEO Council. And we have Fabiana Zangara, who is an immigration attorney, joining me from New York. Thank you so much, all of you, for taking out the time and speaking to me. And, you know, I would like to start actually with the woman on the panel. Fabiana, let me start by asking you about, you know, every second sentence that Donald Trump actually spoke in the last 1 year was about deportation, was about immigration. Tell us, how many calls are you getting about people who are now exploring their options? How could it turn out from here? And is it really now going to be a very clear road to deportation, or are there legal safeguards for people there?
So thank you so much for having me. That's an interesting question. As you were saying, we received so many calls because everybody is concerned about what Trump is talking about and like about what is going to happen in the next few months. Honestly, it's hard to predict what actions he will take, even though it's like we can predict some of them. most likely he will try to reshape the policies under the Biden administration, and most likely, like the goal would be to undo and hand some of the policies under the Biden administration. So, for example, there are some policies that allows citizens from some countries to come here legally under the parole program, provided that they have a sponsor in the United States. So from what we are hearing so far, most likely Trump will try to hand those policies and restate some of the policies that were implemented during the first Trump administration. Like, for example, the Remain in Mexico policy, which allows citizens that are like foreign citizens that are awaiting for their asylum case to wait in Mexico until like a hearing will be scheduled. Now, it's hard to predict whether those policies that were implemented during the Trump administration will be re-implemented again, because this, of course, means some kind of like diplomatic
I remember he'd
conversation
also put in a ban. And it was predominantly for Muslim majority nations, and it was struck down by the Supreme Court. That was part of a series of measures he had taken then. But before we get into those questions, Fabiana, the other thing I want to ask, and then I get in the two gentlemen as well, which is that are there legal safeguards in place, or is it going to be a one-way journey for these illegal immigrants, because they are very large in number, and there are also many human rights concerns that have been raised for them?
Of course, like there are definitely measures in place. Again, it's hard to predict what will be the best course of action right now, because first we have to see what kind of actions Trump will take in order to determine like how to proceed. But definitely the system will be implemented to protect the rights of those immigrants, and like especially for the families, because right now what Trump is promising on one hand is like, for example, for even minors that are U.S. citizens that are here, provided that they have like illegal immigrants, that like illegal parents that are going to be deported, perhaps this may have like some kind of negative impact on those U.S. citizens as well. So again, it's hard to predict how to proceed right now, but definitely there are measures in place, and the system will work in order to protect the rights of those U.S. citizens.
All right, so let's see how soon action will be taken, and whether it will be token or whether it will be large in scale in its nature. John, let me ask you then about the national security aspect of Trump 2.0. What, according to you, would be his first priority areas? There's everything from Russia to China to North Korea to Iran, but in your assessment, what could be his priority areas as he gets into Oval Office, his first couple of decisions?
Well, one of the things that's been talked about a lot is ending the war in Ukraine. President Trump is floating the idea of imposing some sort of division of Ukraine along the current lines of fighting, and also putting, I guess, in the drawer the idea of Ukraine ever joining NATO as a way to get Vladimir Putin to the table. Another major issue signaled by the appointment of Elbridge Colby as the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy is the focus on deterring China. China is a mutual enemy of both the United States and India. So I would anticipate increased reliance on India as a bulwark against China and Asia, and effort to improve the frosty relations between the United States and India that existed in the prior administration.
All right, Arun Agarwal, I was speaking to Mr. Arun Singh a short while back. He's been India's ambassador to the US, and the one thing he said was that Trump's teams, that is the economic team and his national security team, are really going to be at loggerheads to decide how much he wants to take on China, how much he wants to do business with China. Talk to us about where does business priorities lie for the next president, and how will that really shape America's relationship and ties with some of the other leading economies?
Thank you, first of all, Gaurie, for having me here. And I think I see. First of all, I think I'm here in Washington D.C. and the environment, the energy on the street is amazing. I think the common men. I'm not talking only. Talking to a Uber driver, to a restaurant server. They really feel country is going to do something massive in next 4 years. So it's exciting to see that and be part of it. Now, coming to your question, I think we are always using China and India in same sentence with the President Trump 2.0 administration. While it's very, very critical, but India has created and carved its own path. And I think if we stand on our own strengths and don't just see that every time have to be compared with the China, I think we'll achieve really some amazing results. The supply chain world is going to get a great shakeup under Trump 2.0.
No, this is not
And
about
I think
comparison. Let me just clarify that. This is not about comparison or having India, China in the same sentence. Arun, this is about being able to identify those areas where there will be greater cooperation, and that how it will raise new opportunities for India. That's the whole point I'm asking. If there is greater conflict and contestation and confrontation between US and China, will that throw up more opportunities for India?
Goes without saying. And, I have been part of the US retail system as my professional career, and they are seeing handwriting. I think every organization here is seeing handwriting on the wall. They proactively are trying to, as I said, supply chain is going to disrupt for sure. And they proactively, first of all, they are trying to get a de-risk China strategy. And India is going to be the major beneficiary if they really can seize on the opportunity. Of course, the competition comes from countries like Vietnam in terms of the emerging Latin American, some of the economies, Mexico, because sometimes they are easier for even the big Chinese manufacturer to move. Last time when this onslaught happened on China, I think the major Chinese manufacturer, they moved to Vietnam when Vietnam was opening. So India did benefit slightly, but they could not seize on the opportunity.
Sure.
But today India is further ahead in the infrastructure and the way we are going.
Yes.
So definitely, I think India can be a huge beneficiary of what's going to happen.
I think some of that could also be driven by Quad, where supply chains could become a focus area. John, let me then bring you in as far as we talked about national security, when you spoke about Russia, Ukraine. I want to then draw your attention to West Asia. Donald Trump in the last 48 hours has really spoken several times that it was his threat that actually led to the hostages being released, the ceasefire being signed, and so on and so forth. How do you see him and his stamp on America's West Asia policy, particularly regarding Iran, going forward?
Well, I think that we're going to see a return to the maximum pressure on Iran. I think that you might see an increased cooperation with the anti-Khomeinist opposition inside Iran. I think that you'll see it's definite. If you look at what was done with Gaza, everyone in the Middle East is saying that this was because of Donald Trump's actions. I mean, whether you want to talk about who the winners and the losers are in this particular policy decision, it just shows that Donald Trump stands along the world like a colossus, and nobody's going to challenge him in any major way. And the fact that this is happening, is not even president.
Let me come in there. You mentioned challenge. I think the one thing that he's really going on challenging is Greenland. and also talking about Panama Canal and Canada. Those are the three challenges he's been talking at length about in the last 2 months or so. And let me put that graphic out for our viewers to really understand the significance of it, what he's been saying, why it matters. But I want to understand from you, are these empty threats? Do you see them actually, culminating into some sort of US policy, or are they just negotiating tactics for the next president?
I think when it comes to Canada, this is all psychological warfare on Trump's part on the Canadians, considering that we have serious issues related to immigration with Canada. We have serious issues related to manufacturing, and Trump's belief that Canada takes more from the United States than it gives to the relationship. So I think that that's a negotiating tactic. But when it comes to Greenland, he's trying to gain sovereignty over the minerals underneath the Greenland ice sheet. And we already have bases there and so forth, but this is all about keeping China and possibly Russia from gaining control of all those resources. And then with the Panama Canal, which 80% of the traffic is American, and Trump believes that there's a threat whereby the Chinese People's Liberation Army could gain control of the operation of the canal.
Indeed. Arun Agarwal, you want to comment on some of these expansionist threats from the fact that they are bound to have an impact on investor climate, Global Investment Summit, and Investor Summit as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Gaurie. I think, as John rightly said, some of these are the narratives like Greenland. It definitely is of strategic interest to US because of the minerals and the way China is expanding, their base everywhere in terms of getting rights to the minerals. So it definitely changes. Now, are they Canada? Will that happen? I think it's a great idea, but I think the relationship thawed under the last Canadian administration. So there'll be a new administration there. So I'm sure they would want an alignment with USA, and that will change some of it. And given that, I think again, and good thing is, I think India is very well placed now. If I put that all together as well,
yes,
because I think that India did not have a very cordial relationship with Canada during this time as well.
Yes,
and US being a good partner and a strong partner and relationship between Prime Minister Modi and Trump, that can help us globally.
Indeed.
Immensely.
Indeed. I'm running out of time, but very quick comment, Fabiana, from you as we wrap things up. You are in New York. It's a deep blue state. Do you see immigration becoming a conflict between the blue and the red states, between Democrats and Republicans going forward? Or is it going to be all about presidential orders bypassing any other rules?
That's a great question. I think it's not going to become definitely it's something that is going to trigger emotions on both sides. It's going to be definitely about executive orders and what President Trump will decide, but also it's going to be about rights, and it's going to be about the legal system that is in place. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two components are going to mix, the executive orders and the legal system that is in place to protect the rights of those immigrants.
All right. Okay, we leave it there. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me in this very special edition of India Global, the Trump takeover, as we've talked about. The implications of this, it's just started. Well, over the next course of next months, weeks, we will keep decoding what it means for India and for our interests. Thank you so much for watching.
Kickstart your year and hit refresh on your home with EE Broadband for just $29.99 a month and nothing to pay up front. Our ultra-reliable full fiber means you can stream endless music, go all out on gaming, and browse online for the things you love. It's all powered by BT, and we'll handle the switch for you. It's easier than ever before. No wonder broadband switchers choose EE. Hurry, ends Thursday.
Sticking to your resolutions is hard. But at Tesco Mobile, our deals always keep their word. Get the awesome Samsung Galaxy A35 for just $20.99 a month with club card prices, saving you £234. Better still, that price is frozen for 3 years. That's a resolution you can rely on. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma. But so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pomelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today. By calling 0800 038 4926 and giving £1 a week to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 038 4926. Text C13 to 82727 or go online and give just £1 a week now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
This is an important message for people living with diabetes from people living with diabetes.
When I was experiencing the symptoms of diabetes, I didn't know what was going on.
You go on the internet and it's full of horror stories. You don't know where to begin and you don't know what to believe.
I didn't understand about carbs, I didn't understand about blood glucose levels.
I was scared and I was worried.
I didn't understand diabetes full stop.
That's why the support I get as a Diabetes UK member is so important.
You can become a Diabetes UK member too. To join us now, just call 0800 144 5406 and become a member today for just £3 a month. When you do, you'll receive a practical guide specific to your type of diabetes and a copy of Balance magazine 4 times a year. Balance is filled with news and inspiring real-life stories from members just like you. And you'll receive regular emails and vital updates that will help you feel informed and supported. Plus, you'll help support research that could lead to better treatments for all types of diabetes.
Membership makes life better because you're not alone anymore.
Call 0800 144 5406 or go online to become a Diabetes UK member for just £3 a month, because membership can help you learn to live better with diabetes.
Our first year as a family flew by, and now I want to make sure he'll be financially protected for all his birthdays to come. That's why I'm calling Smart Insurance.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee. We guarantee a straightforward application process, award-winning service you can trust, and cover from day one. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
Madras Director V. Kamakoti defends his statements categorically, says it's not superstition, but there's scientific research and ample evidence to prove medical qualities of Gomutra. Convict in the Kolkata rape and murder case, Sanjay Roy is sentenced to life in jail. CBI had demanded the death penalty, but the Kolkata court concluded it wasn't the rarest of a rare case. Mamata Banerjee makes politics of it, says her police force would have made stronger case for the capital punishment. Well, first up this evening is a disturbing video of an assault on 3 Dalit labourers in Vijaypura district. That video on your screens. The labourers were allegedly being punished for taking extra leave and were beaten on their feet repeatedly with iron rods, even as they were begging for mercy. The incident happened at a bricklin in Vijaypura a few days ago, where the 3 labourers worked. Reports say that the labourers had gone home for the festival season and took a few days extra leave, and that's why they were being punished. The police have arrested 2 of the accused as per reports that are coming in now. And after that video on your screens went viral, there were political reactions, including from the Chief Minister and Minister in charge of Vijaypura district. They were sure tough action will be taken against the accused. My colleague Nihal Kidwai joins us for the latest on this. Nihal, tell us what you're hearing from the police and in terms of whether this is being seen in the realm of atrocities against scheduled castes and scheduled tribes.
I spoke to one of the senior police officers, and around 11 a.m. when this video clip had surfaced, at that point of time, police teams were not sure that in which part of Vijaypura it had happened, but later they cornered. They came to know that it had happened in the rural area of Vijaypura, Sadangi, and after that they registered a case and they started to search for the accused persons. What we came to know that 5 people were on the police radar. 3 of them have been arrested. The superintendent of police of Vijaypura said that strict action would be taken against those who are responsible for this. These 3 laborers are from the scheduled caste community. But what we have come to know that those who are attacking them, they are from the scheduled tribe community. That is why the Dalit atrocity case has not been registered. This is what we have come to know. This is what a senior police officer told me. But across all party lines, all politicians want that strict action should be taken against those who are responsible for this, because in a civilized society this kind of action is not allowed, is not acceptable, because these laborers had gone for leave on Sankranti, and normally it happens that because they met their family members and they stayed there, they overstayed there, they returned back to their work after a couple of days, and after that the owner of this brick manufacturing firm and his relatives started beating them brutally. They are being given treatment at the Vijaypura hospital. They are out of danger and their health condition is improving.
Right, they will take a long time to recover from those injuries, both psychologically as well as physically. Thanks very much there, Nihal Kidwai. Remember, without the video, incidents like these rarely get noticed. It's part of ongoing things and realities of certain places like that Vijaypura bricklin. Now to the controversy over cow urine sparked off by IIT Madras director V. Kamakoti. Dismissing the sharp reactions and criticisms from the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu to his comments that cow urine has medicinal properties, Mr. Kamakoti strongly defended his remarks. He told NDTV there is scientific proof to back his statement and even a patent. The DMK had hit out at the director and alleged that he was spreading superstition without scientific evidence. V. Kamakoti spoke exclusively to NDTV's Sam Daniel.
Professor, your comments on Gomutra, a cow urine endorsing the medical properties, has triggered a kind of a debate. Many say the IIT Madras director ought to